Okay, so picture this, the heart of ancient Persia. One king is about to build the mightiest empire the world has ever seen. But here's the twist. He's not just going to do it with an army. He's going to do it with an idea that would completely change the meaning of power. This is the story of Cyrus the Great.
The fire is warm, the night is cold, and I have a story that simply must be told.
I am Norman G. Rock, and you are watching Histropedia.
Oh, you have to remember, this was an age of just brutal conquest. You win, you crush the other guy. That was the playbook. But the sources we have describe what Cyrus was doing as something totally new. His approach to building an empire, one based on this revolutionary idea of justice, was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. So that's the big question we're tackling here. How did this one man completely redefine what an empire could be? He didn't just conquer nations, he created a whole new model for how to govern. He built a superpower, not on fear, but on a concept that was, for its time, absolutely radical: tolerance. All right, so to really get who this guy was, we gotta go back to the beginning. And I mean the very beginning. A birth shrouded in legend and a prophecy that basically sealed his fate from day one. So this story, which we get mostly from the Greek historian Herodotus, it sounds like something straight out of a movie. You've got his own grandfather, the super powerful King Astyages of Media, who has this terrifying dream, a prophecy that says his own grandson is gonna take his throne. So what does he do? He orders the baby killed. But, destiny, or maybe just a merciful servant, steps in. Cyrus survives, raised in secret by a shepherd, with absolutely no idea he's got royal blood coursing through his veins. Well, the truth eventually comes out. And when Cyrus learns who he really is, he doesn't just come back as some long-lost prince. Oh no, he comes back as a leader, ready to claim his birthright and challenge the entire old order. So around 559 BCE, Cyrus takes over his father's small kingdom, but he's got his eyes on a much bigger prize. He sees that the vast Median Empire, ruled by his now kind of lazy grandfather, has gotten weak. He unites all these scattered Persian tribes, and with some brilliant tactics, and get this, a key general from his grandpa's own army switching sides, he defeats Astyages. But here's where Cyrus really shows his genius, and it sets the stage for everything that follows. He doesn't slaughter the Medes, he doesn't execute his grandfather. Nope, he spares his life and masterfully merges the two peoples. This wasn't a hostile takeover. It was the birth of a brand new, unified force, the Achaemenid Empire. Next, he turned west to the ridiculously wealthy kingdom of Lydia, ruled by King Croesus. And after his victory, Cyrus showed that same unique style. Instead of crushing their culture, he respected local traditions and put just governors in charge, setting the pattern for how he'd rule all his future territories. And this brings us to the main event, his most legendary achievement, the conquest of Babylon, the greatest, most fortified city in the ancient world. This is where the story of Cyrus the Conqueror truly becomes the story of Cyrus the Liberator. I mean, the contrast between the two kings couldn't be more stark. You had King Nabonidus of Babylon, a tyrant who was deeply unpopular for oppressing his subjects and, this is crucial, ignoring their religious traditions. And then you had Cyrus, who had carefully built this reputation for mercy and justice. The people inside Babylon's supposedly unbreakable walls, they were watching, and they were waiting for a change. His strategy for taking the city was pure genius. Forget a long, bloody siege. His engineers performed this incredible feat. They actually diverted the flow of the mighty Euphrates River, which ran right through the city. The water level dropped, allowing his soldiers to simply wade through the riverbed and walk right into the heart of Babylon. It's just unbelievable. And get this, the city gates were practically thrown open from the inside. The people of Babylon welcomed the Persian army with cheers. Cyrus had conquered one of the world's greatest cities without a major battle, because to its own people, he wasn't an enemy, he was a savior. His military victory was absolute. But what he did next is what cemented his place in history, transforming him from just another great king into a truly visionary ruler. So imagine, he's standing in the heart of his new prize, this incredible city. He doesn't declare himself a god or demand crushing tribute. Instead, he makes a declaration, a completely new philosophy of rule that would resonate for millennia. This policy was recorded on what we now call the Cyrus Cylinder. It's a simple, baked clay barrel covered in cuneiform script, but the ideas it contains are monumental. In fact, many historians consider it one of the world's first charters of human rights, a foundational text whose principles you can trace all the way forward through history. On it, Cyrus declared that all local gods in their temples would be respected and restored. He decreed that all displaced peoples, entire nations who had been forcibly dragged to Babylon as slaves by previous kings, were now free to return to their homelands. He effectively guaranteed freedom of religion and ended state-sponsored slavery across his empire. Just wow! Now, the most famous beneficiaries of this unprecedented policy were the Jewish exiles. For decades, they had been held captive in Babylon. Cyrus not only freed them, but actively encouraged them to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their sacred temple. It's why in the Hebrew Bible he is praised and even called a Messiah, an anointed one of God. So Cyrus's legacy is defined not just by what he conquered, but by how he chose to govern the vast, multicultural empire he had created. He founded a new capital, Pasargadae, a city of sprawling gardens and open-air palaces, and its very architecture was a statement. It intentionally incorporated artistic styles from all across his empire: Lydian, Babylonian, Persian, and more. The city itself was a physical symbol of his philosophy of cultural fusion and mutual respect. He managed this huge territory through a system of provincial governors called satraps. But he allowed local regions to keep their own laws, customs, and religions. He built the Royal Road, a network to connect the empire, fostering incredible trade and communication. It's really no wonder his own subjects from all these different cultures came to call him the father of his people. But even a life so extraordinary had to end. Cyrus died as he lived, on the move, securing the frontiers of his empire. He fell in a fierce battle against nomadic tribes in Central Asia, a warrior's death for a king who spent his life on the campaign trail.
Ultimately, his legacy is profound. Cyrus proved that an empire could be built on more than just fear and violence. He showed the world that respecting diversity and granting freedom could be an incredible source of strength, not weakness, creating a stable superpower that would last for centuries. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In a world still grappling with conflict and division, what can this ancient model of tolerant, just, and merciful leadership teach us about building a better world today?
Thanks for watching.